Yeah.
Empire mixtapes, not for the weak-hearted.
Yep.
Holy sh! Where'd you find this?
Hey Rockets fans, it's Kobe Tree here. And before we get into this video, I wanted to break down what I kind of wanted to talk about. I want to talk about the Rockets, the last few games, injuries, players on time management, players I think that should get traded and are about to be traded. And then I'm going to talk about the whole NBA and all. And then maybe the NBA, All-Star game. And shout out to Tom Brady for getting his 7th ring. I'm a Texans/Giants fan. I know that don't make sense, but when I was a kid, the Texans didn't exist. So I rooted for the Giants, and so I still have a soft spot for the Giants. So it was great to see Jason Pierre-Paul win the Super Bowl. So shout out to JPP and Tom Brady. He's the GOAT. Shout out to that boy and the whole Bucks team. Mike Evans, he's from Galveston. A lot of my friends know him. Well known around the area. So shout out to Mike Evans as well. So let's get into this video. The Rockets been playing really bad lately, but it's because they're missing their main offensive force, their main player that they're built around, and that's Christian Wood. So they're looking kind of tiny out there. They pretty much just got a lot of defensive players. I really can't wait till the Rockets really trade Victor Oladipo, because I really want to see what the roster is going to be down the road. Kind of gives you a better idea. And I know KPJ will be called back up, but I don't know when. I don't know if it's going to be around the trade deadline, if it's going to be before. But as of right now, I really can't invest a lot into KPJ. It is what it is right now. Hopefully we get a player for Victor Oladipo. I know PJ Tucker has been a very ineffective offensive player. I know he does a lot, defensively, but he's better suited for a championship contending team. When I say that, because he will come off the bench, he will give you a few minutes, he will give you a few points. Not nothing crazy, but like I said, going to a championship caliber team, he will do all the little things, and that's just not what we need right now. A player in his position for the Rockets needs to average, at least max 15 points. I think he's our starting, power forward at times, or small forward. So we need to figure out, how are we going to move on from PJ Tucker? I know the Rockets are, going to trade him, but like I said, there's no real rush. Even if they keep losing, eventually Christian Wood will come back. John Wall, Eric Gordon, and they could roll off some wins. The big thing about the Rockets, they're not in, dire need to blow up the team. I know a lot of fans are like, hey, trade, blah, 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 trade Victor Oladipo, trade Tucker, trade House, get all the assets you can, get Tyler Hero, get picks. But when this team is fully healthy, they're a pretty good team. In my opinion, they're a middle of the pack, around that 4th and that 10th seed. Now, I think they're better than the 10th seed, but their situation, they're digging themselves into a hole, so it's hard to get out. But I definitely think fully healthy, record 0-0, they're the middle of the pack team, middle of the pack. LaMelo Ball definitely showed why, he's probably the rookie of the year last night. And I really like Bridges. I think Bridges is going to be a great player. I thought, one of the issues for, some of the teams around the league, like the Charlotte Hornets, is that they don't have a pure point guard till this year. And now you're seeing, like a lot of teams, they draft a lot of young assets, but they never get a pure point guard to, guide them, lead them, and get the best out of them. But LaMelo Ball is getting the best out of his teammates, and that alone separates, the bad teams from the good teams. That's why the Rockets getting John Wall. If Russ was on this team, it will be, crucial that the Rockets. It will be crucial that they should blow it up. But Rockets definitely won getting John Wall, because he's a pass first point guard who could play defense, could draw some fouls, and he might not be the greatest point guard anymore. He's a decent point guard, above average, and he's what the Rockets need, in my opinion. They don't need Russ, so they won in a trade, and they got a first-round draft pick. And, there's other games across the league that, have been intriguing me. The Raptors have been playing really well. They beat Brooklyn, with KD was out, and I think Kyrie Irving was out, but they took full advantage of James Harden and the rest of the Brooklyn Nets. That's what you got to do. You got to get the wins that you're supposed to win. So the Raptors are going to sneak into the playoffs. They might make a few moves as well. I don't necessarily know. I've been hearing that they wanted to trade Kyle Lowry to the Miami Heat, but I think the Raptors are still, a competitive team. They might trade him for like none and a pick. It could be possible. I don't necessarily know what they will want. But there's no real need for Kyle Lowry for the Raptors since they're not a championship team. But what he brings, his pedigree, his competitive, his IQ, he's such a great player. Miami getting Kyle Lowry is definitely an upgrade. They have Dragic, who's just not playing really well this season, and then you have the Raptors you know, and they can make the playoffs. They're gonna make the playoffs. Then you have Washington versus the Bulls. This is a game of last night, and Washington is like 2 and 10 or even more games with Russ. They have a losing record, a very very losing horrible record with Russ, and they have a winning record without Russ. So very weird DC team, and it's sad to see that Russ is declining so fast, and that's the reason why the Rockets traded Clint Capella because Russ can't really do much on the floor besides penetrate, play the lanes, and try to get to the free throw line and get a jump shot. So yeah, I mean that's all I gotta say about that. The Washington Wizards are a disaster. The Bulls, they're above, they're probably above average. And then you got teams like the Mavericks they beat the Timberwolves last night as well. They're really a weird team as well. But I'm really intrigued for the All Star game. Um, you might not see a lot of big names like LeBron James who beat the Thunder last night. The Nuggets, you might see a few young guys from them. The Suns. These are just some of the games I'm rolling off. The Spurs keep winning. Now, I don't necessarily think the Spurs are that good. I think Greg Popovich is a great coach, and that's the reason why they're winning. He's getting the best out of his players, but I think he's taking full advantage of, a lot of teams are, adjusting to the virus, the new rules, etc. And I think Greg Popovich is, carrying his team really well. I think he's managed to get the best out of his players even when they're injured. And I think they're way better without LaMarcus Aldridge. I think LaMarcus Aldridge is horrible for that team. He's so slow on his feet. DeMar DeRozan plays way better without him. So they need to move him ASAP. But like I said, the All-Star game's coming. Um, that's the next big event that's going to happen. Y'all need to go out and vote for Christian Wood. I know he's injured and he needs to come back ASAP, to, get voted in. I'm not trying to rush him. And I know a lot of fans are like, hey, John Wall needs to get back out there. Eric Gordon needs to blah, 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 needs to play already. They need to get those W's, but you don't know what people are dealing with. I really want to see Christian Wood out there because I really want to see him in the All-Star game. And I think more than ever this year he has a chance because you'll see a lot of big names, just kind of pass it up. Now, I don't think LeBron James is going to play. I don't think, maybe Luka might not even play. So that gives opportunities for John Wall, if he plays, and Christian Wood. Of course, I know Christian Wood will play because this will be a big accomplishment for himself. And I think he should take the full advantage of it. John Wall is an all-star for real. But the big thing about John Wall is, all those injuries. But, man, he's well-deserving. I'm so happy that, he's, came back from 2 years and played really well. The big thing is just the minute restrictions and games off, time management. That's really crucial for the Rockets. Tonight the Rockets have the Pelicans. Zion Williams. Hopefully John Wall and Eric Gordon are back in the rotation. Now, do I think the Rockets are going to win? No, I don't think so. Without Christian Wood, like I said, he is the Rockets because that's what the Rockets are built around. They're built around Christian Wood, pick and pop, shooting threes. He has a great touch around the rim. So I don't think the Rockets are necessarily going to win, but if they have Eric Gordon and John Wall back, then they have a chance, and that's all you really want. You just want to have a chance. Thursday, I'll be going live with Liam Adams. aka William Adams. So I'm excited for that. So versus the Miami Heat, we'll be talking about Miami, the state of the Rockets and what they need to do and what they need to trade for. Now, I think the Rockets need to trade PJ Tucker. I'm hearing that teams want the Rockets want 2 to 3 second round draft picks, maybe 1 first round draft pick. Now, is that a little much for PJ Tucker? Yeah, that is. That's a little too much. 3 second round draft picks and a 1st round draft pick, maybe. Now, that's 1 first round draft pick, excuse me, and then maybe 3 second round draft picks. Now, I don't think PJ Tucker is necessarily worth that. I think, to a championship team, he's worth 2 second round draft picks. To a middle of the pack team trying to get into the playoffs, now he's probably worth maybe 3 second round draft picks. Maybe that's a possibility. I don't necessarily know. It really matters of the beholder and what they really, value PJ Tucker as. Now, Victor Oladipo, I don't even know the market for Victor Oladipo. I'll be honest. I'm here in Miami still, but the trade talks for Victor Oladipo has died down. He's played really bad. His percentage is so bad. It's like one time it was 28% and then 30%. So it's fluctuating, with these horrible games that he's been playing. I thought he would have been better, but his, transition from Indiana Pacers, where he was playing really well, to the Rockets has just been, really bad. So, I'm really Victor Oladipo fan, but these last few games, I just think the Rockets should kind of just move on. I think he forces a lot of things. He reminds me a lot of Russ, what he does. But I'm glad he's just a shooting guard. The bad thing is the Rockets don't have a pure point guard. Mason Jones, he needs to go back to the bench, or he needs to go to the G League. I like Mason Jones, but he needs some more time to develop, as well as it's just time for him. He's a shooting guard. He doesn't need the ball. He doesn't need to be the primary ball handler on the second unit. So that's just something that the Rockets need to figure out. They need to get a point guard in here, a backup point guard. They need to get a center in here, a cheap backup center. Times that, DeMarcus Cousins plays well at times. He plays really well. I got to give him that. Sometimes he could be inconsistent as well. I think this is the thing about the Rockets: the inconsistency, the unpredictability. It's just this is a very odd team in my opinion. It's been, that's not what the Rockets fans and the Rockets are used to. Coach Silas, sometimes makes horrible lineup changes. Everybody's learning. Everybody is, trying to develop. Everybody's trying to, adjust, with the virus and, the minute restrictions and injuries. Coach Silas hasn't had it easy with all those situations playing a factor. Well, like I said, expect the Rockets to make a lot of moves at the trade deadline, and I'm really hoping they do. I really do. There's just, if the Rockets make a trade with New York, I'm hearing Obi Toppin, Randall maybe. So Julius Randall, and maybe a pick. Now, the Rockets should give up a little more. I do not want the Rockets to trade a Victor Oladipo or PJ Tucker with draft picks. In addition to that, I think the Rockets should probably, package PJ Tucker, Victor Oladipo, and maybe Daniel House to, one team like the Miami Heat, the New York Knicks, or the Minnesota Timberwolves. I know Minnesota is very intrigued into getting Victor Oladipo, PJ Tucker, and I'm sure they'll take on Daniel House as well. Daniel House is a great player, but the Timberwolves are in no man's land. They're a team that's should be in the playoffs, but they might not be because they're horrible. Their coach really bad. They had a lot of bad situations happen with Carl Anthony Towns. His mother and him getting the virus, and then I heard he got hit by a car. So I really don't know what's going on with that whole organization, but I know they're intrigued with Victor Oladipo and PJ Tucker. Now they said that Edwards isn't on the table. Edwards is the #1 draft pick that got drafted this year, who's playing okay. I would love to see him with for the Rockets. Would I give up Victor Oladipo and would I give up PJ Tucker and Daniel House? Yes, I would tell you why. Because now you have something to build around. Now he may not be the guy you necessarily want to build around, but he is a player that you could have, say, KPJ, Edwards, and now Christian Wood, and you could look at them and say, okay, now I have my leader as well. John Wall could, play alongside these guys. So that's what I really want the Rockets to do. I want to trade, a package for a young player like Anthony Edwards. Now, like I said, the Timberwolves said that he's off the table, but sometimes if the offer is just, too much, then they might trade him because I know he's unhappy playing with them. And like I said, it's his first year, so you imagine his teammates, they're probably really unhappy. But the Timberwolves are a joke. They have been the last several years because they have a lot of talent. They had a lot of talent in the last few years. Look at the Jimmy Butler situation. They don't know how to use it. They're a horrible organization. Um, their coaching has always been bad. So, ever since Flip Sanders passed away, RIP for real. But like I said, watch the Rockets to make some moves. I never gave out a pair of shoes. Like I said, I've been so busy. And the night that I was supposed to give them away, so Thursday night I'm gonna give them away. So expect a giveaway. I've been kind of like hiding, not because it's just work. Work got me busy. And then the night I got on here to do the shoe giveaway, I was very tired. So Kobe Tree out. Remember, shoe giveaway Thursday with William Adams and myself against the Miami Heat. Please come and support. That's the main thing. We want supporters. We want subscribers. We want likes. I don't mind giving away 5 pair of shoes as long as I get subscribers, as long as I get likes. This takes a lot of time and effort. Like I said, I'm very busy with work, so please, I'm not trying to beg, but like I don't mind giving away stuff, to keep people intrigued. All right, guys, Kobe Tree out.